Give Russ a big welcome, folks.
Well, I've got to tell you, I can't sing, so I won't even try, in case you all go home. But one of the things I was just listening through, there were so many tapes and recordings of people who performed at the Illawarra Folk Festival, and John was one, and John never had to apply. Everyone else had to apply, but John was the only one who was exempt from applying, because he was automatically selected, even if he didn't want to come. Anyway, I've got sort of all these recordings of it. They're on tapes, so I don't play them. But I remember one vividly that I did play, and it was him and a few other people, and he said, one of the horrible things that's happened to me is Joe Jelke Peterson resigning. And I thought, oh. And then he said, I've lost about 25% of my songs. And I thought, well, he's right, because I think like the one that a couple that were just sung, and you know, if Donald Trump drops dead tomorrow, in 20 years' time it'll be historical. But anyway, I was thinking of him, and I was thinking of poetry, and I write a few poems. I've written about 1,000. But anyway, Maury Mulheron, who was mentioned there earlier, he always says every time I do a poem, he said, "That's not bloody poetry, that's doggerel." And I thought, oh, gee, maybe it is. Anyway, I wrote one about him to sort him out later, but it was one of the great poets who said, if you want to get a good poem stuffed up, give it to a singer. You all hear that? Anyway, I read this one. This is actually a song. It's a parody, because that's what John was so good at. And I was down there, this is just recently, and I read where the Town and Country Hotel had shut. And you probably all know the Town and Country Hotel at St Peter's, and Slim Dusty's song, I Love to Have a Beer with Duncan. And I was actually down at a concert sitting next to a bloke called Kenny Kitchen. And Kenny was a slide guitar player who is on just about every one of Slim Dusty's songs. And I think he's on including this one. And I thought, oh, and I talked to him about the Town and Country closing, and I thought, oh, must be a bloody parody in that. So I did. I'd love to have a beer with Dengate. There were times when we might get tight. He'd never heard of moderation, and we'd drink any time, be it day or night. We'd drink at the Town and Country and any other pub in the state, because we loved to have a beer with John, for he was our mate. I'd go and have a beer with Albo. It'd be Albo and Big Russ. But I don't like submarines, and you know what you can do with that bloody old cuss. I'd take him to the Town and Country, where these things he'd repudiate, and I'll drink again with Albo. Once again, we'll be mates. I'd love to have a beer with Sam Kerr. I'd love to have a beer with her. We'd drink after all the matches, and I'd never kiss her on the lips and cause a stir. We'd go to the Town and Country and drink till our time was up, and she'd have to go to training, so next time we win the cup. I'm sure you'll like this one. I'd never have a beer with Dutton. It's the pub we'd never go. When you said it's your shout, Pete, what would he say? No, no, never, no. We're banned from the Town and Country and every pub in the state, so we'll never have a beer with Dutton. Only Gina Reinhardt's his mate. and I'd never have a beer with Scummo. Drinking beer he does eschew, as drunks are known for telling the truth, and that's a thing which he does not know. We couldn't drink at the town and country, as all good mates they oughter, for the pub's not got a pulpit, and they don't serve holy water. Anyway, that's the new version of I'd Love to Have a Beer with Duncan.